After successfully selling over 15 cars, Faraday Future would now like you to buy its robots. OpenAI's free GPT 5.5 model makes ChatGPT better at understanding context. And come on, you don't need an AI to check your spelling. It's Thursday, June 25th, and here's a quick look at some of the news happening in and around tech this morning from Engadget. Faraday Future would like you to purchase an $89,900 robot. As part of its latest revamp, the embattled electric car company is now pitching a lineup of robots, including humanoids, quadrupeds, and a robotic arm. Now, if the name Faraday Future does not ring any bells, well, that could be because the company has been going through a bit of a pivot over the past year in an attempt to salvage its bottom line, if not its reputation. That's become something of a theme for Faraday. The business generated a fair bit of hype years before it showed off its first production-ready electric car at CES 2017. Its leaders certainly had lofty goals, but in the almost decade since, both the business and its founder, YT Jia, experienced financial tumult. Compounded by about a dozen lawsuits, internal turmoil, layoffs, and yet more confusion around money, a lot of Faraday's plans went on hold, and it showed. In January of last year, it said it had sold 15 or 16 vehicles. However, Faraday Future returned to CES that year promising a new electric minivan and a fresh start. The return of founder YT Jia as sole global CEO in May of this year as part of a larger executive shakeup might mean a loose definition of quote-unquote fresh. The company is still putting work into its EV strategy with the first pre-production model of its FX Super One MPV van completed in December. But now it seems to be taking a page from Tesla's book and directing more energy into robotics. This month, Faraday Future shared some new details about its robotics lineup. There is a quadruped model called Navi that looks to be targeted towards kids for learning embodied AI. That one starts at just under $2,000, but you may have to pay extra to give it a 3D printed canine head. The company also has a new version of its humanoid model called Futurist. The 5'8" robot equipped with NVIDIA Sonic's full body motion control system is on sale for just shy of $90K. It's also selling an industrial-grade robotic arm that it's calling a mobile manipulator product. Now, there's no public pricing, which is likely code for unbelievably expensive, even for business customers. Despite the massive price tags and a history one could most politely call spotty, the company seems to be counting on at least some sales. According to its latest press release, Faraday Future claims to expect shipments of more than 100 robotics units in June, and that total shipments for the first 6 months of the year are expected to surpass its original target of 220 units. Well, at least that's better than 15. OpenAI has updated GPT 5.5 Instant, the model you interact with the most when you use ChatGPT, to be better at understanding context and adapting to queries as you alter them to add more conditions or clarifications. The company updated ChatGPT's default model to GPT 5.5 Instant in May. Back then, it said that the model produced 52.5% fewer hallucinated statements during testing and 37% fewer factual errors. Now, the model has been upgraded to be more capable when it comes to identifying the underlying goal of a task or a question and carrying context over multiple back and forths as you talk to it. GPT 5.5 Instant is now also better at processing complex questions and is more likely to answer the multiple points you want it to address. If you clarify your question further or push back on its answer, OpenAI says the model should adapt more effectively and give you more relevant answers instead of repeating its old ones. And since it's the default model for the company's chatbot, you're supposed to feel these quality-of-life upgrades when you use ChatGPT. In addition, the new GPT 5.5 Instant can understand location context more effectively, so it can surface truly relevant options nearby if you ask it for, say, restaurant recommendations you can visit while traveling. It can also give you product recommendations and business information, as well as show you images if the chatbot decides they'd be helpful to you. Overall, OpenAI says in its new announcement, responses should feel more tasteful and cohesive with more natural formatting, so they'd feel and look less templated in the way chatbot responses currently do. If there is one thing we love more than catching a politician doing something silly, it's the excuse they confect to try and get out of it. The latest involves Florida Republican Anna Paulina Luna, who was caught using AI in a draft amendment to a bill because the text included the phrase, "Claude responded," which might hint that someone pasted in a conversation with the Anthropic chatbot of the same name and then forgot to hide it. Luna was quick to shut down the accusation, posting on X, as reported by Gizmodo, that her staff used AI to correct a draft text and did not edit, adding that it's not a shocker as most staff use it. Not long after, her posts were deleted, probably because it wouldn't be ideal to admit you used AI to do your job for you. She then posted an amended explanation saying, "My staff used AI to spell/grammar check the amendment summary, not the actual amendment text itself." Shortly after, she posted again, saying, "FYI, no legislation is ever drafted with AI." And that screenshot was merely depicting an AI summary of the bill that's also used for spell check. She also asked, "What dork planted this story?" And, to further bolster her reasonable credentials, threw in a tears of joy emoji for good measure. Now, look, it's reasonable for someone to use an AI chatbot to check their spelling and grammar, since that feature has not been widely used on computers since Luna was, 6 years old? Hell, even if you used Superhuman's Grammarly brand of ghoulish AI to check your spelling and grammar, it would not insert references to its brand into the text of the documents you're working on, which makes us think that, maybe parts of this story don't quite check out. Thanks for listening. There's more tech news at Engadget.com. This episode featured journalism from Anna Washenko, Mariella Moon, and Daniel Cooper. Enjoy your day, and I'll be back tomorrow with more tech news from Engadget.